Aloha, and welcome to Feast, Dish, and Dialogue, a podcast presented by the Hawaii Ag and Culinary Alliance, sharing conversations from the Feast Summit at the annual Hawaiʻi Food and Wine Festival. Here, leaders across food, education, agriculture, sustainability, and tourism come together to explore the future of food systems and hospitality, and how culinary sits at the center of the visitor experience in Hawaii and beyond. In part 2 of this Feast Dialogue episode, we continue with a dynamic panel presented by King's Hawaiian, Social Media Bites, How Food Influencers Shape the Industry, recorded live at the Feast Summit. Moderated by Kara Kozuma, Senior Associate Manager of Earned Media at King's Hawaiian, and featuring panelists Ben Hahn, Kiki Aranita, Kale Afong, and Philip Lemoine, this conversation brings together digital content creators and food media professionals from coast to coast to explore the shifting role of social media in the food industry and what it means for chefs, restaurateurs, and marketers.
So I guess if we were to sum everything up into, a handful of themes, one is be authentic, establish connection, just start, and then be flexible. Look at what you're doing and then see what's working. Awesome, so I think we're ready for questions now. And I appreciate all of your guys' thoughtful responses. I'm sure our audience has a lot of questions, so if you have a question, please raise your hand and we will bring a mic to you. You can state your name, affiliation, and your question.
I just remembered how I met Philip.
How's that?
I saw your video. So Philip had this video, and he was like super nervous.
Oh my God.
He was super. Okay, so he was like his first video. He was like super nervous. He's at Kakako somewhere, and he's making his video, and he's like patting his face dry with a napkin, and then this napkin gets stuck right on his forehead, and he doesn't know it. And then he goes, "Oh hi, I'm Philip, and here come here eat this food." And he has his piece, and that's how I found him. Was that video?
That wasn't even a napkin. That was like the toilet seat, the toilet seat cover, and I was using it to blot my sweat. And then I was in front of the Kaka'ako sign, like, this is where you can get the best cheeseburger. And there's all these like Japanese tourists there. Like, I had my camera set up. They thought I was like, gonna shoot something crazy. And then I didn't even notice. I went home and I edited the video. And when I was editing the video, I was like, what? And there was freaking toilet seat tissue stuck to my greasy forehead the whole time.
Why did you didn't
gotta
tell him?
repost it. You have to repost it because it's been years.
I'll
tell
repost
him
that.
that he had
I'll post that today.
No. I seen it. He edited the video later, to tease himself. Like, look at me, I'm so
Yeah,
like,
and I think
so
that's a good proof. Like, just start. Like, who cares? Like, and it's so normal now, but I don't care. But yeah, I died. I like watched that. I literally, my soul left my body when I watched that video. I was like, oh my God, because I thought I crushed it. It did it first line. Anyways.
Yeah, that's the one.
I mean,
I'll repost
I
that.
love that you didn't edit it out and you still posted it. So I mean, that's so relatable. That's probably why you saw it, and it's been circulating.
Yes,
So
it's so funny.
Damn, forgot about that.
I got a question.
yes.
Also, thank you, panelists. It's really cool because I'm sure we've seen all you guys in your edited videos, very curated perfection, but it's cool to see your personality kind of like come out and hear your stories from the beginning. But Natalie Duran, Hawaii News Now, but I have my own personal Instagram, Ninja Natalie. I have a question because it seems like no matter what growth and what virality you have, there's always going to be someone with hate. So how do you personally deal with those haters? Is there like a mental strategy? Do you block keywords? Let me know.
Bring it, brah. Bring it. Hey, by the way, Natalie's famous. You should be up here.
Yeah,
Why are you
seriously.
over there?
Ninja Warrior.
Ninja Warrior.
Next
No, so my friend, a good friend of mine who's in the industry, I asked her about it, and so she told me, I don't know if this is true or consistent across the board, but she told me it helped me. She says, ignore all the negative comments. Don't respond. The negative comments is just a reflection of what that person is feeling at that moment. So they're feeling junk. They're gonna say something junk. But she said at the same time, don't get all hyped up with the positive comments either. So she said, comments, nothing. Not too high, not too low. Don't worry about the negative, but you also can't take in the positive. Just even keel right through the middle. Keep doing your work. Keep making the videos and just keep moving forward. And then don't worry about the comments. That was for me. I don't know about you guys.
Nice. Kale.
For me, I just delete, but delete.
Out of sight, out
delete.
of mind. Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, I think it's like what Kelly said. It's really how you feel about your own content, right? What I always say is when I post, am I happy with this, right? And that's the most important thing. Am I doing justice to the restaurant or the chef? And to me, that's most important. And if I feel good about it, then that's all that matters for me.
Oh gosh, I'm petty, so I'm just like fuck you, I don't, yeah. But now that it is my main source of income, I just have to really be considerate of like what I'm saying and what I'm posting, because if a brand sees that, they're gonna be like, oh, we don't want to work with this creator if they're saying these things, So I just have to I just bring it down. I think
Burner account.
Yeah, I think the thing too though is like Holly was saying. It's just hurt people hurt. They're gonna say some stuff that's gonna do it. And the only comments that really cut me are the ones that maybe have a little truth to them. And it's usually when they're picking at like my technique or whatever, because I'm not a chef. I'm not you know what I mean? And I'm just this wannabe influencer posting cooking videos, right? But I think it's just, after doing it for so long, I just learned to it's not personal. They don't know me, you know what I mean? So you just gotta kind of let it go.
Thank you.
I don't get negative comments on Poi Dog, but I do. So I can't delete comments. I'm not allowed to. I have 2 accounts. One is for my sauce company, and the other one is my writer persona that is constantly linked to the newspaper account. So I'm not allowed to delete comments. They're mostly positive, and when they're negative, I'm like, oh, at least it's good for engagement. But the thing that I get that I think not a lot of people get is I get emails. I get a lot of negative emails. So many negative emails being like, why didn't you mention this other restaurant in your list of best restaurants? And that I have not figured out a way to deal with yet. So if anybody has tips about how to deal with somebody who a lot of people who will go out of their way to not just leave a comment, but look up my email address and then send me an email, I will, please let me know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Awesome. Mahalo.
And thank you for your question. I think just adding on to that, it's just a part of what we do. There's always going to be haters, and at the end of the day, it is engagement. So I think luckily on the brand side, we have a very loyal, amazing following. So mostly everything is positive, but sometimes a video will land in the wrong people's laps, and people will literally fight in our comments with each other. But it boosts the video.
Yeah.
So good. That's so
Works
good for
out.
engagement. Yeah.
I will say this though, I noticed when Kali would get a lot of hate, he would double down on kindness. He would reply back with so much aloha in his response, where it was now you just look like an asshole. You know what I mean? So he did a good job of flipping it and taking it as constructive criticism and not being a jerk back. So that I think is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Spin it back on them.
That's so funny that you know that, because I haven't responded to a comment in a few years, but I used to double down with kindness. You're right. That's
And that shows your authentic personality.
Yeah.
Kill them with kindness.
inside. I was like, motherfucker.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah.
Awesome. And we have another question?
Thank you so much. This was so eye-opening. We appreciate you. How do you use AI in your social media? And do you or don't you? And where do you see it going?
We knew this was coming.
Yeah, that's a Toby question. Yeah, he loves AI. No, I don't.
use it.
I personally, I only use it as a resource. I just use ChatGPT to kind of as a search engine more than anything. And then maybe I'm a terrible speller and I'm terrible at grammar. So I will use it. I'll just say hey, this is what I'm trying to say. What's the best way to say this to fit in a caption specifically for Instagram, and or keywords and that sort of thing. But I don't use it to create content, if that makes sense.
I mean, I use it for editing to remove utensils or dirty napkins on the table. But it's been really helpful actually. I think especially for photography, whereas even what they call noise, the grain in a photo, and then now you can kind of remove that and make it really, really nice and shoot in super low light. So to me, that's been really important in my editing process. And And similar to what Philip said about ChatGPT, I think it's very helpful to kind of help you articulate what you want to say sometimes, because I'm also awful at grammar and speaking, and sometimes I just want to get my thoughts in a more articulate and nice way. So, and that's how I use it.
I'm not allowed to use it.
As a writer.
I don't use it, but I want to learn. I think it's the future, and I think it's gonna be easier for me because I just seen a video where the guy takes a photo of himself, and then he talks, and then AI does its thing, and AI creates a video with that person's face, with their voice, and so the guy doesn't. I don't know if it's real. You guys seen that? I don't know if it's real. Could be fake.
No, yeah,
but
it's crazy. And you change your language, and
Yeah.
your lips will match the language.
So I mean, I'm looking to take an AI class. I told my wife, I said, we got to find a class and learn because I think that's the future. But I don't use it right now. What about you, Kara?
I mean, I think that's a great question because social media, it's ever evolving, right? So there's going to be a bit of that in everything we do. I just use ChatGPT. I mean, for emails, for a lot of different things, ideation. But I think, fortunately, I'm supported by an entire marketing team. But for people like you, like it could be a very useful resource to ideate your next campaign, your recipe, see what's trending.
I use it a lot for my recipe writing too. I will have the recipe already, then I'll just literally talk to it and say, here's the steps, here's the ingredients, make this into a formula of a recipe so I can just copy and paste it and post it on the thing. So it'll kind of do that. And I also use it for organizing my thoughts. I just constantly thinking of things and I just like will spit it into ChatGPT and just like help me figure this out later type of thing. And then it'll help me not necessarily prioritize, but organize my ideas to where they could flow into each other, basically. But I don't use it to like essentially create anything, if that makes sense.
So more as kind of like a helping tool.
Yeah, like an assistant and a proofreader and yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, AI can't establish that same connection and authentic voice that you guys bring. So it's probably going to be a balance of a bit of both.
You're listening to Feast, Dish and Dialogue, conversations from the Feast Summit exploring how food, culture, and hospitality shape the visitor experience in Hawaii and beyond.
Yeah, I just have something to say. So I use AI a lot. Gemini is my best friend right now. And so if you guys really haven't done it, it's a really game changer for a lot of us in the content creator industry. Basically, we can put up a cup and it'll be like some amazing video content that we're building. So we are putting together portfolios of AI content for many of our clients in social media creation. We're also seeing some type of, I guess it's gonna be a disadvantage for people who are not using AI in the future because you're gonna see, already you're seeing Instagram being flooded with AI videos that you cannot tell what's real and what's fake. And that is now the biggest conversation in the Instagram space is like, is this AI, is this AI, or is this not? That's really what I see the most, which means that people are using it, which means that people are being influenced by it. So I say like basically it's very important for creators in this space because we are trying to compete with other agencies and creators and all this, and they're gonna be using AI into their platforms. Hawaii is a really big adoption now on AI as well, so I'm not gonna say that we're behind the space. We have some really good AI guys out there now that are creating, I don't know if you guys know how the Chihu guy is really good. I mean, there's some really good stuff out there. And so this is just the beginning. I mean, literally AI and Gemini just started like January, like this year. I mean, you guys are not behind the table and it's just begun. And so, yeah, just jump into the space. Download AI Gemini on your phone and talk to it when you can. It's going to learn more about your creation, how you want to do content, and then it's going to really help you. You got to teach AI to be, you cannot just expect AI to help you. You have to teach it to understand who you are, what kind of content you have, what kind of ability you want to speak into it, and then once it learns you, it's going to help you out so much. And I'm looking forward to actually being able to promote restaurants, not only here in Hawaii, but maybe even abroad now by using AI and their technology that they bring to it.
Awesome.
All right, I have a question. Okay, so I'm starting a new restaurant. It's called Toby's Hale. No, I'm not. But if I did, and I want to invite content creators to my restaurant or a business, or I'm a brand, could you give us some recommendations on what is the best way? Like, should we email you, message you? Should I like and comment on every post so I get your attention? Like, is there a way that you guys are expecting us to be outreach? Because that's where we're actually, most of us here in this room are actually looking to work with influencers and content creators, but we don't know what the best way and the strategy to reach out to them. And maybe Carol also has a good idea on this as
Could
well.
I actually jump in that real quick? I get invited to so many restaurants because they just look at me as a social media influencer. They look at my following. They think like, ooh, we should go with Philip because he has a large following. But I don't do that type of content, right? And I don't have that type of following. And I think it's important, if before you even contact anyone, to look at who their main audience is. Who do they work with? Like, I think, gosh, there's so many amazing food review content creators that have way less followers than me that would do so much of a bigger impact. If you're gonna spend money on inviting someone over, make sure it's a creator that actually is gonna put people in those seats. A lot of my audience too is in like LA and New York. They're not even here. So inviting me to come to your restaurant to do a review, it's not gonna put people in your seats. So I think that's the first thing, is just really vet who you're gonna reach out to and if that's gonna reach your goal, basically. That would be the first thing I would say to do.
Just DM me.
That's all we wanted to hear. Just DM us. We may look at it and we may not look at it, but that's the way to reach the creators, I believe, right now.
And I think if you're gonna DM too, make it somewhat authentic. I get so many DMs too where it's like, dear name, we love your content. You know what I mean? And it's like blah 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 blah, and it's like, we want to invite you to this thing, right? And it's like, come on now,
Yeah, I think it's important for the restaurants to be authentic and sincere as well. Like when they reach out, it's how they word it. It's like sometimes if it's just like, hey, come through, whatever, and it's just like, you don't take it as serious. But if somebody's writing a well thought out email or a message to tell their story a little bit and say, hey, we'd love for you to come in, try our food, and hopefully you can share like that, that would actually make me want to come in more.
Mm-hmm. And I think a direct ask too. I always get a lot of indirect asks where it's like, hey, we just started a new menu. Let me know if you're interested. It's like, no, just tell me what you want. You want me to come in? You want me to make you a video? Okay, you know what I mean? So like, tell me, here's the trade. I will give you all of these food items if you can just make a post with a collab. Then I just know like there's an even exchange. It's not like I have to like pull teeth to figure out what you want from me,
Yeah, transparency.
Yeah. But nicely, be nice, but just be more direct. Yeah. And a lot of the brands that I work with, especially like larger brands, they're very direct with, here's what we want, here's the date and time. They really lay it all out for you so you don't have to think. It's just like, yeah, I want to do that, let's do it,
Yeah, so I actually invite a lot of creators because we have a ton of events going on at all times. And I feel like something that's worked really well for us is just treating people like people, So having that one-on-one connection, emailing, DMing them directly, I think helps, but also like keeping in mind what's gonna interest them. So the event itself, we kind of cater to be shareable, to be engaging, things that creators are gonna enjoy, those niche creators as well. So to Philip's point, like inviting the right people. And then also like what do they want out of this experience? So oftentimes we allow +1s, we don't require posts, things like that. So we mainly want to show people a good time, and we know if people have a good time, they're going to share it.
And I think this is a great way to market restaurants these days too, because you can have one creator come in and make one video and you will have a line out the door. You'll sell out of food. You know what I mean? It's crazy how social media has reached like that. So I think it's one of the best ways as a business owner, specifically in the restaurants, to market your business is working with creators for sure.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And we still have a lot of time for questions, so let's keep going.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for sharing all of your insights. You folks have mentioned a lot of metrics throughout the conversation, everything from comments, likes, follower count. As social media has evolved so much over the past decade plus, what do you feel from the brand perspective or as a creator are the most important metrics for you to be paying attention to and to hit your goals?
For me, it used to be the save button and the forward button. They just recently got rid of the save button. I don't see it anymore. But I base engagements off of those. So in the order, it's the forward is the number one, where they forward it to somebody, to the save, and then the comments and the likes and the views after that. But I look for engagements, like who's sending my stuff to friends, and then I can decide, this is the kind of content that people want. This is what they're looking for, you know. Then I make content based on that. But yeah, I look for forwards, saves, views, and then comments and then likes.
Yeah, it's engagement, 100% engagement. Yeah, so comments. But I think it's views too, because you're not going to get, it's like a scale too, right? It's like the more views you get, the more engagement you'll get. You're not going to get more engagement and less views. So ultimately, you need to hit views first, and then you will have engagement with that. And engagement essentially is content. And, I mean, comments, but not just comments of like, wow, that's a nice shirt. You know what I mean? It's like, well, it's a comment on the brand product, or it's a comment on the recipe, right? So it's like a genuine comment on the thing that's in the video, basically.
Well, I still work with a lot of products. So before I started at the Inquirer, I was the kitchen and dining editor at New York Magazine's The Strategist. So I still do a lot of product reviews for The Strategist and for The Guardian. And for me, it's like playing a long game. And for the brands that reach out to me, it is playing a very, very long game. Because like I don't review something and it goes immediately online. It can take years, but then you get something in New York Magazine, and then you get something in The Guardian, and it will have the legs to like reach out to people who maybe aren't on social media as often, or like genuinely just like shop through websites. You can take that like piece of press, and that will carry you pretty far. And yeah, I still do a bunch of product reviews on the side, but trying to retire that side of my career because focusing on restaurants, chefs, and I'm writing a cookbook. So yeah.
It's also important to look at kind of your metrics in your stories as well, not just the posts. Sometimes stories, it ties together, right? So sometimes I'll share a story from my post or whatever, and that's how people will also see it, and that's more engagement and more eyes on it. So and pushing it out to Facebook and TikTok and all that stuff, I think just the more you share, the more eyes you're gonna get on it. So those will help the metrics as well, and then just like sharing everywhere instead of just your post, because not a lot of people are seeing your post on their feed anymore, right? It's just
people that follow you, they don't see. Yeah, you're just getting fed what the algorithm thinks it wants you to see these days now.
So you got to do more things to kind of get it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think definitely maximizing reach any way you can, whether it's reposting to your story, reposting to other platforms. I mean, if you already have a piece of content, you absolutely should do that. I think from the brand side, all metrics are important. So, reach and impressions, that shows how many people you're reaching overall. But then, like you guys said, engagement is what shows what's actually resonating with people. And if you're a brand out there looking to measure these metrics, we use the Eisenberg Index, which essentially assigns a dollar value to every view, every comment, every like. And they created this index for, I think it was like Microsoft or something, so I think it's pretty credible. But so likes, comments, save, shares, those are worth the most dollar value. Mm-hmm. And then it's views, CPM.
Yeah, because views you could also boost a video too, right? So as a brand, you could just throw a bunch of money behind it to get more views. But it's like, are those views converting, right? Are they getting people engaged? Are they even watching it and interested in what's in the video?
Are they making sales?
Yeah, exactly.
Are they
right.
like I mean, at the end of the day, like if it's a brand that you're working with, like they have a product to sell. Mm-hmm. So like, are those views, is that engagement translating to actual sales?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then if you have an account that has a lot of following and they have a lot of views, you can tell it's purchased because they have very low engagements. Yeah. So you can purchase views and comments and followings. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you gotta be careful who you do business with. Yeah.
Feast, Dish and Dialogue is presented by the Hawaiʻi Ag and Culinary Alliance, the nonprofit organization behind the Hawaiʻi Food and Wine Festival. Founded to strengthen Hawaii's culinary and agricultural industries, HACA connects world-class culinary events with year-round investment in education, workforce development, and local agriculture. Through programs that support students, entrepreneurs, farmers, and hospitality professionals, Haka works to ensure Hawaii's food and hospitality ecosystem continues to grow, innovate, and thrive.
What is the thing called?
Eisenberg Index. So I manage our
Interesting.
earned media. So Eisenberg
That's
Index
cool.
provides earned media values to everything. So essentially, it's like what companies would pay for those likes and comments if it were an ad.
That's really cool.
AYZEN, something like that. Awesome. That was a great question. Thank
Yeah.
you. Are there any more questions, or how are we doing on time?
We're at 5 minutes.
Awesome.
So I'd like to know how you guys pick who to work with as content creators and also as part of marketing for King's Hawaiian.
Yeah, so I guess I can start this one off. So I think first and foremost, it's who's an authentic brand fit. So we don't want to treat our creators and partners like billboards. You know, they're humans, they're businesses. So who genuinely is a fan of the brand, because that authentic connection is going to come through in their content. So I would say that's first and foremost. Making sure that they actually fit whatever it is we're doing. And then also that they're a good fit for the brand. So we're a very family-friendly brand that's meant for everyone. So, you know, we kind of steer away from maybe creators that have a lot of profanity in their videos or things like that. But generally, we're open to working with anyone and everyone.
I see why you didn't answer my DMs. I get it. I get it now. I get
Yours
it. I
is
get it.
great.
Shit.
So I would say that's first, and then second, yeah, it's probably metrics are important because at the end of the day we do have KPIs. So whose authentic voice is reaching the people that we want to reach and the amount of people that we want to reach.
For those who don't know, KPI, that's the
Key performance indicator. So you know, like from the brand side, we have goals that we have to meet, but there are a lot of different ways to do so. So it's going to be a mix of definitely the creator themselves, making sure they're a good fit, they're a good person overall, and then are they hitting the rest of the goals that we're aiming for?
I learned a lot today.
For me, the way I decide who I want to work with is, you know, I get invited by a lot of restaurants similar to Philip, and it's really where I would go spend my own money, where I'd want to go eat, right, naturally. So that's what kind of draws me to work with those people. And when it comes to brands, also kind of what I said earlier, it's who I, you know, believe in, who I think are you know, genuine, and who I'd actually spend my own money on. So that's how I decide where to go eat and who do I decide to work with.
So since I run an agency, I can actually explain to you a little bit how we find content creators and what we're looking for. And we run probably 4 to 5 events a week. And so it is a lot that we do. Some have 4 people, some are just individual, most are about 10 to 20. We always are looking for content creators. First thing we do is we do Philip's homework. We kind of look at the creator, make sure that it's gonna align to the restaurant or the business. Second thing we do is we actually look at following. We take that very seriously. We look at following. I'm a little bit in disagreement in terms of engagement, just because I'm older and I know that people my age don't really comment or like. And so we watch that as well. So we look at the age group. We kind of know, like, if you're 50 or 40, whatever age group I'm in, whatever, that's going to be most of my following. So I don't do very well with 20-year-olds. And so I don't get, like, 400 comments, but I can walk around Ala Moana and people will always recognize me. So I know that people are seeing my things, but they're just not commenting. Why are you not commenting? Because I'm over 40. I don't comment on stuff. And so just to be clear, that's kind of the way I look at it, is like, because I'm in that age group where I grew up in not having social media, so we're not used to this engagement process where people under 30 are very, very, I mean, you'll see on that thing, and so we look at that as well, but we also understand that age and demographics make a big difference. And so we're also trying to look like, if we're trying to sell like a food and wine event, we got to go a little bit more higher end because that's a little bit higher spend. When we're looking at more like a fall restaurant, we might go a little bit lower. So that's the way we look at it. We kind of tier that. We also kind of understand like who they are. A lot of these influencers have day jobs, so that means we gotta do a night event. A lot of the people who are with families, they're not gonna go out on a weekend and they're not gonna go out during the night. So we take all these things, we put it all together, and then we go to the brand and we say, okay, these are the influencers that we want you to align with, and then we start inviting them, either through DM, email, maybe even personal text messages. And so that's kind of how we kind of do it. So it's a lot of homework. A lot of people think that what we do is just inviting people that have good content. And we also, like I said, Philip said, you can have 1,000 followers, but you can hit the engagement button so fast that you can have average of 10,000 on your reel. And that's why it's so important to get started, because you don't know where you're gonna fit in this whole space. And everybody is different. Everybody has different demographics. Everybody has different followings. If I bring in 10 people, we know that we're gonna hit 10 people, but they're gonna maybe duplicate maybe like 3 to 4% of their followers, but the other 90% is gonna be different. And so that's why we're always trying to hit different people in different demographics. Some are gonna be very successful, some are not gonna be very successful, but we gotta keep grinding and keep hitting it, and we're gonna find a sweet spot. But my main thing is that if you're younger and you're looking at getting involved, we really need you right now to get involved into the content creator space, because the youth industry is getting really difficult because of the split with TikTok. And I don't know if you guys are using LinkedIn or whatever you guys think is a social media. We have to kind of identify who you are, but we really want to see a bigger growth of the industry with the youth, mainly like 17 to like 22, 24-year-olds. Just get started, build your content creation so we can invite you to these things in the future, because we really, really need you guys, especially like if I represent like a bank or an insurance company. Those guys, like, or real estate, those are all my clients that I work with. We cannot go after people 40. They're not gonna change. They're not gonna change. So we wanna go after the youth, and we wanna go after people that are gonna be able to build our brand for years to come. But we just need to get more influencers, and that's our biggest struggle right now as an agency.
Can I add to that real quick to your question? From a creator standpoint, like when it comes to like as a creator, when I'm looking at brands that I wanna work with, I have to think as a creator, does my content align with that brand, right? So I've had some dream brands that I wanted to work with when I was making food content. I wanted to work with Sony. I wanted to work with Apple. I wanted to work with, these lightings and audio companies, but I was making cooking videos. So as a brand, why would Sony want to work with me when it's just cooking content, right? It doesn't align with their key customer, right? But once I started doing education, showing people how to light their cooking videos, showing what camera settings I'm using, where to place your camera, how to use a microphone, that's when I started getting on the radar of the brands that I actually wanted to work with. So I think it's just considering who are my dream companies that I want to work with as an influencer, and does my content align with their key customer? And then that's how you can align yourself with the brands that you want to work with.
Feast, Dish and Dialogue is presented by the Hawaiʻi Ag and Culinary Alliance, the nonprofit organization behind the Hawaiʻi Food and Wine Festival. Founded to strengthen Hawaii's culinary and agricultural industries, HACA connects world-class culinary events with year-round investment in education, workforce development, and local agriculture. Through programs that support students, entrepreneurs, farmers, and hospitality professionals, HACA works to ensure Hawaii's food and hospitality ecosystem continues to grow, innovate, and thrive.
So much, and I think we have one last
One last question. Yes, one last question, Dave. Thank you.
How's it? Joe McGinn, farmer and chef. Question for you guys. Speaking about youth, there's something fun, playful, and a curiosity that comes from young children. So what is something that we can see in your content that you bring from your childhood? What is that young part of you, something that may not be obvious to us, that curiosity, that playfulness, that fun that comes through in what you guys produce?
I can answer mine real quick. Mine is my inappropriateness, which my wife always likes to point out. Look at her face. So I'm 40, and I feel young until I hang out with younger people. Then I realize I'm old, right? But I just try and act authentic, and I think to find my youth is I'm just like a goofy person in general, so I will just be goofy in the content. And that's just kind of how I try and highlight youth as a 40-year-old in my videos, I guess.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. I'm 11 years older than Philip, and I feel like I still have a very young mindset, you know, and most of my friends are in their 20s and 30s, and, you know, I could be their dad, but you know, I think having that young mind is what kind of, you know, I still connect with people that are in that age group. So, and I'll forever be that way. When I'm like 70 and 80, I'll still be an idiot and just kind of like jumping on beds and stuff in hotel rooms and just being myself. And I think that's what resonates with the younger audience these days, right? Just kind of relating to them, but also being your genuine self. And like Kale, when he's just a funny guy, and people relate to that very deeply. That's who he is. So he's gonna get everybody, all age ranges, but the kids are gonna relate to him because he's so funny and so approachable, right?
I'm not a goofball, but I'm really curious. I'm curious about everything. Like every single time somebody is just like, hey, come visit my distillery or my brewery or my sausage factory or my farm, like I'm there. I'm constantly curious. I'm also 40, by the way. I'm constantly curious about how like things are made, and that is like the core of what I do, the core of the stories that I tell, like bringing people behind the scenes to places that normal people maybe don't have access to. Yeah, curious about how everything is made. I'll come to your farm, by the way.
I'm the oldest one on the panel, and I hate all you guys. Don't try to make content. Be the content. So you just be yourself. That was Gary Vee. Don't make content. Just be the content. So that's what I do, and I'm stupid. So that's what it is. You just get what you get. Yeah. That's all.
Well, first off, I need all of your skincare routines because you guys.
Yeah, what is going on here?
But I'm going to answer this in a couple different ways. So first being, well, we're a brand, so we don't necessarily have that childhood, but we're actually celebrating our 75th anniversary this year. So we've been around for 75 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so we started as a small bakery in Hilo, Hawaii. And the brand today is still family owned and operated. So that's really exciting. And that's a story that we're going to be telling this year. So I think you'll see a lot of that in our content. It's just kind of like the brand history, where we came from, where we are now. And then the second way I'm going to answer that is we are a brand for kids. So we actually see a lot of our purchases are for kids. It's moms buying for their kids and their families. And we see a lot of these posts on Instagram. So people are comparing their baby's arms to like our rolls. It's the cutest thing. So it's just kind of like nurturing that specific community. So we're actually making like baby swag to send out to all the moms that tag us. Nice. So feel free to tag us.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm actually going to use my arm for the bun because that's about the same size too. Yes. Very sad. Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Ben, Kiki, Kale, and Kara. How about we give them a round of applause? Thank you so much.
Mahalo for listening to Feast, Dish, and Dialogue. If you enjoyed this conversation, subscribe and share it with someone passionate about food, agriculture, and hospitality. To learn more about the Feast Summit and the Hawaiʻi Food and Wine Festival, visit hawaiifoodandwinefestival.com. Be sure to join us for the next episode of Feast, Dish, and Dialogue.